I'm so I'm sorry, guys. I truly am. I'm so sorry, guys. I really am. I am so sorry that I'm starting this video. I've been trying my level best to calm down and, just be a little bit serious, but Angie Mutsecha, do you see your product? Do you see your work? You must be very proud, ma'am. You have to be very proud. Your products are going wild in the comment section. Wow, South Africa. you just have to worry about the future, because the majority of these people that are the products of Angie Mutsecha, they are parents. Let that sink in. If your parent lacks understanding, aka comprehension, and then the little bambino comes back from school with homework, do you actually understand what you're going to be teaching the child? And then what that child... Whoa, people. If you think that this country is run by foreign nationals, you should see in 20 years' time, because there'll be no capacity. And it starts with little things like comprehension. I mean, I saw somebody say, oh, why Masemola is boring us about... Listen, I am sure sometime when you were learning at school, particularly when you were doing languages, whether you were doing isiZulu, Venda, Chivenda, Tsonga, Tswana, Xhosa, whatever, you learned about the structures of composition, introduction, body, and conclusion. So what Masemola did on day one, when he started, he was introducing and at the same time enlightening us about his role as a National Police Commissioner. Oh, but Angie Mutsecha's products were all over him like a bad rash, like, oh, that's Bora. And I'm like, that's why I get the comments that I get in my comment section. This is not your channel. I just want to let you know, this is not the channel you should be on, because I'm going to hold you accountable. The moment you leave a comment and then your comment completely misunderstood what was being said, or you just read the title of the video but did not go into the video and actually tuned in the thing that's called listening skills, you are going to come and embarrass yourself on an international stage like YouTube and making Angie Mutsecha very proud. Okay, I know some of y'all, I know. Okay, I just have to. I mean, I just have to hold people accountable. Otherwise, people would think it is okay to just go wild and not be held accountable. There are things that I don't understand. A lot of things that I don't understand. And I may have an interest in the things that I don't understand. But not once are you going to hear me leave a comment that is going to sound, oh my gosh, this is an international platform that I might be embarrassing myself on. Instead, I'm going to listen. And if I do have a question, I will ask the question and admit that I don't understand what I just heard on this video. Please enlighten me further or elaborate. That's what you call intelligence. Accumulation of knowledge. And then when you don't understand that knowledge that you are perceiving, then you ask a question rather than leave a comment that's going to leave one going, did you understand? Did you understand? I always admit, I've got 2 IQs. If you know anything about IQs, this is the level of intelligence a person has. It is actually measured. And I think a genius is anything beyond 120. Anything above 120, that's a genius, I think. But when I say I got 2 IQs, I mean I'm not knowledgeable about everything. That is why I have a YouTube channel where I get to express my two IQs that are rubbed together and say, I'm trying to make sense of this because I don't understand. Yeah, I do say that. I don't understand, but in my own little world and my two IQs after rubbing together, this is what makes sense to me. And then if you are in the know, I invite you in the comment section to educate me. Educate me. But you just hear what I say, hear, not listen. There's a difference between hearing and listening. Hearing is when you hear a sound, like what I'm doing right now. You are hearing me audible, but you understand what I'm saying. That's where the differences come in. And that is where the skill of listening comes into play. Yeah, the skill. Because listening is a skill. And if you know anything about skills, it is something that you have exercised over the years. That is why some people will tell you, look at yourself in the mirror. What do you see on your face? You've got 2 ears to listen twice. You've got 2 eyes to observe more. You've got 1 mouth to speak less. I know it's foreign. And it's just like the word integrity. I put out a video where I am holding the National Police Commissioner, Fannie Masemola, accountable for having bent the law, the Constitution, irrespective of how you feel about the Constitution. It is still the Constitution that is active and we all must abide by it. People like Fannie Masemola, people like the president of the country, people like the police, the army, the doctors and nurses, anybody that has to do with a human life and the sovereignty of the country, they swear to the Constitution of this country. That also includes public representatives, whether it's a councillor or a member of parliament or a member of the provincial legislature. They swear to defend, uphold, and protect the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. And that is why it was important for the chairperson of the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry to ask Masemola about what he asked him, and he entangled himself to a point where he relented by saying, I started winding down. That moment when he said, I started winding down the PKTT, that's where he bent the law so that it suits the minister, who of course was unlawfully making unlawful decisions, that Masemola, who swore to the Constitution that he will defend it, he will protect it and advance it, even if it means the Minister of Police comes and say, you need to bend the Constitution. He bent it. So that means he compromised his integrity as a leader. And when you compromise your integrity as a leader, you are no longer suitable for that office that you hold, because now you have put that office into disrepute. And what is the best thing and the honorable thing to do is to resign to protect that office. Haven't we learned about these things? This is home training. What I'm saying is home training. That's what our parents used to belt us for breaking the values and the principles and the customs of the house training or home training. And then you're supposed to do what with that? Carry it with you all the way throughout your life, career, family, society, community, whatever it is that you belong to. You need to be an upstanding man or women. And I understand this is South Africa. The word integrity is a foreign language or even a foreign concept. We have normalized mediocrity. We've normalized where the law is bent. And then out of that mediocrity and the bending of the law, guess what you guys will get? Yes, role models. And I sympathize and I empathize and I stand with Fannie Masemola because the man was put under pressure. He was put under pressure, and on top of that, he needed to be smart because he was working with questionable characters that will take you out just like that. So I understand his position, but my understanding has a borderline where, as a leader, you say, come what may, I am willing to die for this office. And if I say no, as career limiting the no is going to be, I'm going to stand on that. Even if it means I lose my job or even my life. That's what a leader is. But mediocrity and also the bending of the laws has created a demigod out of Fannie Masemola, and hence the attacks I've been getting in the comment section. So the question I'm asking now is your own integrity. What is your concept of integrity? And when it is compromised, what do you do about it? Do you hold yourself accountable? Do you hold others accountable for compromising integrity? It doesn't seem so. But it's not all lost because the majority of the people that follow me on this channel, they uphold all those values and principles. And that is why they understood what I was saying. Instead, what did we do? We had a discussion. Not me now responding and actually pointing out some very painful facts about why you are commenting the way you are. It is because of the poor and weak education this country has normalized. So much so that the products of that education, when they come to an international platform like YouTube, confidently leave a comment. And then when you look at the comment, you have to ask yourself, what raised you? Because I don't think your parents were wild wolves. These are people, I believe, had the best interest at heart for you. They taught you the principles and the values. But when you got out there on the streets, you met mediocrity. And then you internalize mediocrity, and hence you are responding the way you do. And that also includes Mutecha education system, unfortunately. That is why I don't blame you 100%. I don't. But as an adult, I do expect you to say, hang on a minute, if I press send, how will this sound if it was on my side being said to me? And the moment you realize that, then don't send it. It's not the right platform for you to send it. Send it elsewhere where your kind is at. There it will be accepted. Because here, no, we hold accountability accountable. And I still stand on what I said. And I said it in my previous video because I was doubling down on the other video where I said Fannie Masemola must resign immediately. I stand on that. I am not flip-flopping on it. I stand on it because he compromised integrity and compromised the office of the National Police Commissioner by listening to Senzo Meyiwa and started winding down the PKTT. It doesn't matter how he explains it. He compromised it and therefore compromised his own leadership. And then what do you do in a case like that? You say, listen, to protect the office, I am stepping down. That doesn't mean he's a failure. That doesn't mean he is, we need to take him, nail him on the cross. No, he was working under very difficult circumstances. But then again, that's where your integrity and your leadership gets tested. Do you stand on principle or do you compromise it? Is that difficult to understand? Were you not taught that at home? At school? Did you not hold positions of power somewhere? At work? In society? What about in your own community? I am worried. I am worried about the future because these are adults with children. And then if you are doing this, what worse? What you are raising? It's a very accountable question I am asking you that you need to think about. This is social media. This is social media, and it is looked at by the world. And now you're exposing some of the weaknesses that we have in our country through your comments. Listen to understand. Read to understand. That's what school was about. We were taught in simple terms. We were taught what you understand, you need to manage. That's a nutshell of what education is. You receive something, you analyze it, you package it, and then you manage it. Yeah, that's what you do. You don't just boom. Because that's carelessness and embarrassing at the same time. That's very embarrassing. I'm so sorry. But then again, I don't blame you if you were not taught these things. Because the education system that you were fed, it was creating you to be a dunderhead and a voting cow, easily pulled by the nose by politicians. You don't ask questions. No criticalism. That is, if that's a word. There's no critical thinking. It's, I received this, I heard this, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm worried about the future. I really am worried about the future. Because home training, guys, that's where it starts. Hence, there are idioms like charity starts at home. Oh, gosh. I'm worried. This is a family meeting, and I'm holding your hand. Hope you're holding mine as we're having this conversation. Don't get emotional and angry at me. All you have to do is say, okay, I see my mistake. Now, let's correct that. How do we correct that? We listen with skill to understand so that we engage in a conversation about what you understood. And let's manage it so that we hold people accountable, ourselves included. Integrity, it's called. Again, it's a foreign concept in South Africa. That is why a politician, sometimes even people in the corporate world, I mean, we saw recently an alleged exchange or at least a bribery by somebody who was a CEO because he wanted investigations to disappear because they lack integrity. So when you lack integrity, there are consequences for that. Either they are criminal, civil, or they are intellectual or emotional, or you'll have an uprising in your hand. There are consequences for lack of integrity. And what I have said, and I'm still saying it, Fannie Masemola made a mistake that compromised on his integrity and leadership, and the only honorable thing to do is for him to resign. But then when he resigns, that's a whole other ball game altogether, because this man has shown heroism. And there I'm still standing on that too. What I was listening to and understood from what he was telling the commission, that to me sounded like a hero who also made mistakes in the process. Unfortunately, that mistake has cost him his integrity. Is that difficult to understand? I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm talking to you, NG's products. I'm not talking to my community that has been around, or even if you are new and you understand, we vibe, we get each other. No, I'm not talking about you or to you. I'm talking about the careless ones that just throw in because they think speaking English also it means they understand things. English is a very difficult language, I must tell you. English is a very difficult language. I think this is any home language. It's difficult if you're just hearing it and not understanding what you are hearing. Are we okay? Are we good? So I am ready for the backlash because, again, you got to see why you are backlashing me. Why you are resisting what I am saying. Because you lack integrity. A foreign concept in South African society. That is why I wanted to say earlier, when a politician or a corporate personnel makes a mistake, they literally have to be dragged screaming and kicking out of the position instead of saying, I made a mistake and therefore I'm stepping down to protect the office that I was holding. No, they want to be dragged screaming and kicking. That's Africa for you. It's not just here in South Africa. It is Africa as a whole. The young people, I don't know how successful they are going to be in going out there on the streets on the 24th to hold people that are supposed to be making their environment conducive to express themselves educationally or academically, entrepreneurially, and all these other things that they are going to be fighting for, that this government has been sleeping on. That's what they're going to be doing. But they're going to be forced, screaming and kicking, no integrity. And then you come and enforce that lack of integrity by turning an individual into a demigod. And then you come into my comment section and then you think I'm going to roll over and play dead. No, I'm going to respond to you accordingly. Accordingly. Because you lack understanding. You lack integrity. You lack comprehension. That's the accountability I am holding you. So when you come and say you are disappointed in me in what I said, no, you did not listen. You were hearing, or you just saw the title of the video but did not go into the video. Because the person I'm talking about is your demigod, or you've turned them into a demigod. We must never make that mistake of turning human beings into demigods, because human beings are imperfect. We are imperfect beings. We will make mistakes. We will sometimes deliberately do things that are going to harm us. Just like the dissolution of PKTT. Whoever took that decision deliberately wanted the political unaliving of other human beings to continue so that they benefit. Sometimes it's a mistake that we make, but nonetheless, both, either way, whether it was deliberate or by mistake, you still have to be held accountable, and you need to take that accountability and own it and say, I made a mistake and I'm stepping down so that I can protect the office. Protect the office of the National Police Commissioner. Are we understanding each other in this family meeting? We're holding hands, right? Yeah. We're holding hands. Yeah, that's what we're supposed to be doing. We are helping each other grow. And where we're going to make mistakes, and myself, I'm not perfect. I got 2 IQs for crying out loud. That means I'm very dumb. Like I'm a retard. But in my retardation, I am open to learning. I am open to corrections. That is why I will tell you I stand corrected, because those in the know or experts can come into the comment section and say, hey, Clantis, can I educate you on this? Trust me, I would be very appreciative, because you have added onto the knowledge or the little knowledge I had. On the little knowledge I had. Now I'm enlightened. And that is why I will repeat what I've said before about intelligence. I don't believe that you are born intelligent. No child walks out of their parents' womb knowing what 1 + 1 is 2. They have to be taught it. And also, other formulas in science and mathematics and what you have to be taught. That is an accumulation of knowledge. Because the more knowledge you accumulate, the more critically you begin to think, because you are using these skills to make a decision. Some people think maths is just numbers. No, it is decision making. That is why some people will say, I would rather do chess than do mathematics. In my school, chess was a subject. Yeah, if you did not do math, you had to go do chess. Because chess, that's where you use this math lit. That's for grades 3, 4, 5. And you're doing it in high school? Come on. No, guys. No. Where are we going? Where are we going with math lit? Where are we going? Oh, now I see. We go into comment sections and then we demonstrated by totally missing the mark. Family members, are we together again? You honorable members that have been here, and those of you that are new, that understand this channel, you are just sitting in the family meeting. You don't have to say anything. But the ones that are new and careless with their fingers, I hope you are learning something. That these are the things that we are taught as children. Think before you talk. We were all taught that. Think before you respond. That is why whenever you punish a child, you don't punish a child with physical. You send them to a corner and you tell them, go there in that naughty corner and think about what you just did and come back and tell me how you are going to do better next time. Sometimes I wish before people could follow another person on social media, there would be like a 10 questionnaire, like an aptitude test of some sort, so that you know who is following you, my goodness gracious. So that you know whether I can accept this person or no. It's not working for me, guys. It really isn't working for me. I cannot be a retard and then I have more of us in the comment section. That's like the blind leading the blind. We are not teaching each other anything. I'm not learning anything from you. Clearly, you're not learning anything from me, because I've opened myself to learning. Please teach me about what I'm talking about. If I'm wrong, let me know. But I'm going to tell you what my critical thinking is saying. It's calculated. Everything I say, well calculated, well thought of, and I've asked questions. And now I am responding the best way I understood it, with my 2 IQs rubbing together. Anyways, I think let's end this family meeting right here. I hope we understand each other so that you don't entertain me this way. It's quite funny. I don't want to lie. You entertain me, but at the same time, I get a little bit irritated. I do. And it's not your fault. I still say that. It's absolutely not your fault. Fannie Masemola made a mistake, and I stand by him resigning to protect the office he holds. However, the acts that he has committed together with Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi and team, hero. And I respect him for that. And I really, really respect him. I feel sorry for him. I feel bad. But we need to hold people accountable nonetheless. Anyways, I don't know. I can't even say if you like the video, like it, because it might go this way. It's okay too. As long as you heard what I said. Goodbye.